Welcome to my channel, to everyone who's new here, and of course to those of you who are back again. Great to have you here. In this video we will take a look together at possible scenarios for the price development of Render, Ondo, Sui and HBAR. Things remain exciting, so make sure to watch until the end. And if you also want to trade with cheap taker fees, then I can recommend you the crypto exchange mexc, which has a similar trading volume to Bitget, OKX and Bybit. But as you can see, I already highlighted it here. The taker fees are far much lower than on the other top crypto exchanges, and on top of that you can save another 20% if you use my referral link, which you can find in the video description. 100 pairs, 0 fees just on mexc, and here you can trade some popular altcoins without any fees on mexc. So let's get to Render. What did we say about Render? We have said if we lose the support here at $4.96, which we did, where we also got the retest, then we should drop into the center line. But if we lose the center line and retested it, then we can drop even more. Here was the breakout of the center line, here was the retest, here was the follow through. Maybe we get here another push to the upside. But what I see now is we might have here an inverted head and shoulders formation. This is a bullish pattern. So if we break it to the upside, which is currently the $4.83, then we can get up into $4.91. That's the resistance which we have here. Then we got back over the center line and have to see if we use the center line afterwards as retest. If we do, then we can expect a nice push to the upside, which can even reach for prices up to $5.05. If we break to the downside, and here we can make a trend line, it just has 2 touch points, but it's okay. If we lose that at $4.70, then here is a circle which is between $4.31 and here we have another support at $4.52, which is going to get interesting for us. If we lose the $4.52, then we should drop to $4.32 with a very high chance. As long as we hold the $4.32, we can't be bearish for Render. It is like we have to go into the 1 hour chart. As long as we hold that panel, it is fine. Yeah, if we look, for example, and this is a stock, it's the Rolls-Royce stock, and we go into the daily time frame, then you can see that the price went up within that panel for, look, this was at July 2023 to February 2025. I would say 1.5 years. The price still went up by 385%, and it was all the time in that panel. So cryptos are not on the long term. Cryptos are far much faster, moving to the upside, to the downside, far more volatile. But as long as we keep that panel, we can still expect higher prices. We have seen it here already. That we got here a top, here a higher high. Okay, let's not count this here as well because we overshoot the panel. But if we ignore this, then we also have here a higher high. And this can continue and continue over a longer time period. I have just proved you that with Rolls-Royce. So as long as we are in that panel, everything looks good and we can still expect higher prices for Render. So what about Ondo? We have said about Ondo, breakout, retest, the chance is high that we drop into the box 92.8 cents to 91.1 cents. We have said if we break the 96 cents to the downside, then we shouldn't get the fair value gap filled, which is over. We should first get into the box, and from here we have to see if we break to the upside and get into the fair value gap. So far, we didn't get a breakout to the upside. So far, we have to wait for the 96 cents. If they break to the upside, then the chance is high that we are going to meet the 99.5 cents again. And over the 99.5 cents, we have a fair value gap which reaches up to $1.02. Let's get into the 50-minute chart and look again. On the 50-minute chart, it's just up to $1.01. This is going to get very realistic if we break the 96 cents to the upside. So I would wait for the 96 cents if I want to try a long position, because this can also here be an inverted head and shoulders formatation. If we take the length of one head, put it to the breakout point, then you can see that it reaches into the fair value gap. So this is going to get very interesting for Ondo. If the 91.1 cents breaks to the downside, then we can think about a more bearish trend, which can even reach down to 86 cents for Ondo. So let's keep those two scenarios in mind. The first one already worked, where we have said here, breakout, retest of the green trend line, follow through. And since this just was a bit bigger, yeah, we got here the breakout, which I have drawn here before. We got here the retest. Here was the retest. And the follow through into the box. So we have to see if we are going to drop even more, or if we break something to the upside and get at least the fair value gap filled. And here we have to see, do we push to the upside or do we push to the downside? That's a question which we can answer hopefully in the next days. So let's get to Sui. We have said about Sui that we have here a rising wedge. I drew this with my hands without a trend line. So basically, we broke it to the downside and we went back into that circle here, which was the low area right here. We didn't hit the $3.50. It's okay. This was our second target with the fair value gap. We don't have to fill that fair value gap. I have also put you here a trend line on the chart with 3 touch points. Here even the fourth one. If we break it to the upside, which is currently very close, $3.67.5. Then I want to see a breakout over $3.68.5. So when would I do a long trade? I would do one if we break the $3.68.5 to the upside, which is the horizontal resistance. So I will make this one green. It might be possible, that's why I don't want to trade this white trend line. It might be possible that we break it to the upside, get rejected here or even wick a bit higher, and then we just bounce on that trend line for the next couple of days or weeks and even get to that fair value gap without even being bearish, because we broke to the upside. Keep that in mind. This might be possible. That's why I want to wait for the $3.68.5 breaking to the upside. If we do, then the target is between $3.75 to $3.80. Both are resistance areas. I will put you here trend lines. The first resistance is here at $3.75, and the second resistance is here at $3.80. We can even put it a bit higher and we can say $3.80.8. It won't do a difference. Anyway, everything between those two numbers is the fair value gap. Fair value gaps most likely should get closed. So that's why I think if we break to the upside, then we shouldn't see the $3.15 in the near time. Then I think we have the good chance to push into the fair value gap. And then we have to see, maybe we are going to use the $3.75 as support afterwards and break to the upside. And then we might see the $3.95 again. The $3.50 for Sui have to hold. If we lose it, if we break it to the downside, then it's not looking positive to me, and then we can reach for a far bigger pullback, which maybe not everyone expected, but well, for sure Sui got hacked, some news are out, so some people are too bearish for Sui right now. Let's see what Sui is going to do. The chart is going to tell me where Sui is heading to. We just have to break out. So, what did I do yesterday and what happened? We have set here breakout, retest. HBAR has the chance to drop on the red trend line and get a bounce there. If the bounce is done now, and this was the bounce, which I had drew here as a bigger one, maybe this was already the bounce. We have to see it, we have to wait, because we didn't break to the downside yet. So, the price mark, the key level of 18.98 cents is still very interesting. Now we have formed some kind of an head and shoulders formation. We still have space to the upside to get the right shoulder as high as the left shoulder, which is the top here. So if we make it longer, then here should be the top. If not, not a big deal. This also counts as an head and shoulders formation in my opinion. If the 18.98 cents breaks to the downside, then we have at least space to the downside in the length of the left shoulder. We put it then to our breakout point, and as you can see, we reach for prices down to 18.1 cents. The 18.1 cents is the target of an old head and shoulders formation. Shoulder, head, shoulder. And here the shoulders are perfectly at the same top. So basically we have to see what HBAR is going to do. I can still imagine that we push to the upside to get into the highs of the left shoulder. But if we break to the downside, then we already got our verification. If we get a breakout with a retest and a follow through lower than 80.5 cents, then it's pretty clear to me what is going to happen. I would be just positive if we break the 20.1 cents to the upside, and that's a far way. We are far closer to break to the downside instead of breaking to the upside. To break to the upside, we have to push 5.6%. And if we push 5.6%, we still didn't get the breakout. We need something like this here. Then I would say the purple box is going to get the target. So there's nothing more to say beside the 18 cents have to hold. If they break to the downside, yeah, I have two red trend lines, but the red trend line at 18 cents, 17.9 cents is far more important. If that breaks to the downside, then HBAR is going to have huge issues being bullish on the midterm. Not on the short term, on the midterm. Because the 18 cents, if you are longer in this channel, then you know it already because I'm saying it almost daily. The 18 cents, here we have seen it. Support several times, support 2 times in a row. What here? Resistance. And after that, look what happened. Breakout, retest, sell-off. Down to 12.8 cents. So it is possible that if we break to the downside, if we break the 18 cents to the downside, that it's not looking good, and that we can get in some kinds of those levels which we have here on the left. If we also lose them, I don't want to be too bearish right now, but we have even a fair value gap down to 9.1 cents. If we just close it until, let's say, 10 cents, then it's still a 50% correction to the downside. This is possible. So I just want to warn you that It's not going to happen soon. In my opinion, we still have to get more chart patterns. For example, like the one which we had here, where we had the shoulder head shoulder formatation, which gave us already a big target of the length of one shoulder. If we get some chart patterns like that, which tell us, okay, a 10% correction is possible after we break to the downside, then I would say, okay, we can get nearer to the 10 cents, but as long as we don't have any chart patterns telling us getting into the 10 cents, then the 10 cents are not our target if we break the 18 cents to the downside. So keep that in mind. 18 cents, very important, but we can't say yet where the price is going to go because the data is missing. We have to build it up like we have said here. With this push to the upside, we have already formed a left shoulder and a part of the head. Yeah, we were somewhere here. Then I have said, okay, it looks like a half head and shoulders formatation. We can drop down. Then we have a shoulder head, and now one shoulder is missing. And if we get the shoulder as well, then we have the data which we need to analyze where the chart is going to go if we break to the downside. So that's how I trade. And I hope that I gave you some valuable information with today's update. And now I'm going to release you in your earned weekend. Enjoy the time. See you tomorrow.